already. Had to turn on the Wi-Fi real quick. Got my tablet. Going to get into some stuff. All right. Zephaniah 3:9. Yeah, there you go. It says, Zephaniah 3:9. For then will I return. Hold on, let me get more. Verse 8. Therefore, wait ye upon me, saith the Lord Yahweh, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms. And guess where that's going to happen? It's going to happen in the valley of Jehoshaphat, over there in by Saudi Arabia. It says, for my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms. For what reason, Lord? To pour upon them my indignation, my righteous anger, even all my fierce anger. For all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. Because these people, the Akim were getting into it, that all nations had us in captivity. So all nations have to pay. It says, for all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. Verse 9, for then will I turn to the people a pure language, that they may all call upon the name of the Lord Yahweh, to serve him with one consent. Verse 19, behold, at that time I will undo all that afflict thee, and I will save her that hateth, and gather her that was driven out, and I will praise them, and I will get them praise and fame in every land where they have been put to shame. At that time will I bring you again, even in the time that I gather you, for I will make you a name and a praise among all people of the earth, when I turn back your captivity before your eyes, saith the Lord Yahweh. So, right there, that's a big indicator of those people in the land are not the real people, because the world don't praise them. They don't have that fame. If anything, they despise them, because all the wickedness they've been pushing, all the wickedness they've been doing. They got gay beaches. They got the biggest alphabet party over there, and the world ain't down with that. So that's how you know that this hasn't happened yet. Like it says, I will get them praise and fame in every land where they have been put to shame. But before that happens, we got to be saved up out of here. And before we can be saved, we got to be calling upon the name of the Lord, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim or Kakadash, because it's the Holy Spirit that puts us in us to fear the Lord and to do what He says. Have a good diet. Don't be eating abominable foods, lobster, turtle, frog, possum even. You got people pick up roadkill. You're not supposed to be doing that. So when the people are back in the land, we're going to make the whole world do what the Lord says. Because the world's going to be ruled in righteousness under Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. It says, Verse 12, I will also leave in the midst of thee an afflicted and poor people, and they shall trust in the name of the Lord. See? And we know the name of the Lord. Say, how about Hashem Shai? But to these heathen, it's dreadful among the heathen. So that's why they don't say it. They say Hashem, which means the name. Like it says, when you read the Bible, Lord, in all caps, that means Yahweh. It says, the remnant of Israel shall not do iniquity. The remnant, the ones that are returning, whipping, and seeking the Lord, Yahweh Hashem Shai. You know, we're going to try to stay on our P's and Q's to the best of our abilities, rehearsing the righteous acts. You know, don't be stealing, don't be lying. You know, don't be committing adultery, don't be killing. You know. Salakia. Says the remnant, because it's not going to be the whole nation this time. Like we left out of Egypt, the whole nation left, but this time only 1/3, because 2/3 are going to be cut off and die. It says, the remnant of Israel shall not do iniquity, nor speak lies, neither shall a deceitful tongue be found in their mouth, for they shall feed and lie down, and none shall make them afraid. So this is part of that good news that how Hashem El Shai gave us. You know, the gospel. What is it? Like it says right here, Luke 4:18 in the KJV. This is Yahweh Shai. It says, the Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he hath anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor. He hath sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to preach deliverance to the captives, and recovering of sight to the blind, to set at liberty them that are bruised, to preach the acceptable year of the Lord. The acceptable year of the Lord is when he comes back. When he comes back, he's going to gather up his elect and destroy these heathen and put the rest of them, Esau, Edom, in chains. You know? It says, you have sent me to heal the brokenhearted. All people are brokenhearted. You know? These Edomites, they're living it up in their kingdom. Some of them, you know, because even Esau is cold to his own people. But like it says, damn, I forget, but Lord willing, come back to me. It says, he hath sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to preach deliverance to the captives, because we're here in our captivity, like it said in Baruch, we are yet this day in our captivity. It says, and recovering of sight to the blind, because we didn't know who we were. We're spiritually dead. We're spiritually blind. You know? Like King David said, I think it was, or Isaiah. Let's get that. Isaiah 6 and verse 9. It says, and he said, go and tell the people, hear ye indeed, but understand not, and see ye indeed, but perceive not. Make the heart of this people fat, and make their ears heavy, and shut their eyes, lest they see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and understand with their heart, and convert and be healed. It says, verse 11, then said I, Lord, how long? And he said, until the cities be wasted without inhabitant, and the horses without man, and the houses without man, and the land be utterly desolate. So until the very end, like it says, that least they see with their eyes and hear with their ears and understand with their heart and convert and be healed. Because Yahweh Shem Shai, he don't want everybody to understand and return to him. Why? Because he wants to destroy him in the fire. You know? So that's why you gotta fear the Lord. Because he created everything. You know? Think of the worst thing possible. He created it. Like it says, he's the king of terrors. So don't fear man, because man can only kill you, but Yahweh Shem Shai can kill you and put you in hell. You know? Like look at that guy, what's his name? Stephen Hawking. That guy jacked up. You know? What good was all that smart and all that so-called smart and all that money? It was for nothing, because he couldn't enjoy it. So Yahweh Shem Shai, he's the king of terrors, you know, and he's the master of it. So, you know, fear him. Okay. It says, and recovering of sight to the blind, to set at liberty them are bruised, to preach the acceptable year of the Lord. Okay. Isaiah 46 and 8. Let's get that. It says, Isaiah 46 and verse 8. It says, remember this and be men. Bring it to mind again, you sinners. Remember the things of long ago. For I am a power, the Most High, and there is no other. I am the Most High, and there is none like me. I tell from the beginning what will happen in the end, and from times long ago. I tell of things which have not been done, saying, my word will stand, and I will do all that pleases me. I call a strong and hungry bird from the east, the man from a far country, who will do what I have planned. I have spoken, and I will make it happen. I have planned it, and I will do it. Like he said, his determination is to gather the nations, the assembly, so he can pour on them his righteous anger, his indignation. And he let us know before it even happens so that we can get mentally ready, prepared. Because there's going to be a lot of death all around us, but Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is going to keep us stable in that time. Like it says, the name of the Lord is a strong tower. Let's get that. Because you got all these other camps saying that you can call him whatever you want, but that's not true because it's like Yahushua, like it says, there's no other name whereby men must be saved. Acts 4:12, it reads, neither is there salvation in any other, for there is none other name under heaven given among men whereby we must be saved. And what name is that? That's Yahushua. Yahushua, he is the deliverer, Hamashiach, the anointed. And guess what? Like it says, for then will, Zephaniah 3:9, for then would I turn to the people a pure language. That's the Lashon Kodash, the holy tongue. It says that they may all call upon the name of the Lord to serve him with one consent. So it's not Jesus, it's not Christ, it's not Yeshua, Yahuwah, Buddha, none of that. Let's see. Damn, I had something. Matthew 24:22, it reads, and except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. Because this guy's going to come in like a madman, sparing none, but still seeking. Let me get that. Second Ezra 16:71. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. It says, and except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. And here I got a few things. Because it said that Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is going to speed up time for the elect's sake. Because he's going to come down like a madman, sparing none. Like, you just got that IDF, the Israel Defense Force, joined up with the United States military. And they got over $1 trillion of funding with your taxpayer money. The IDF small hat Israeli defense force, you know. So, but for the elect's sake, those days should be shortened, because it's going to come down like a crazy man, coming in like a flood. It says, I asked Google a question. I said, powerful earthquakes can make the earth spin faster. It says, yes, powerful earthquakes can make the earth spin faster. And we just got, Texas just got an earthquake, a 5.0, I think. And they're going over it, saying about how how rare that is. That never happens, you know. So earthquakes all over the world. We just had one in California, another one in Japan. You heard about that one over there in Venezuela, killing a lot of people. Because you have Shimi Ashai, you know, he's angry with the world. They're over there worshiping idols and praying to demons. So they got what they asked for. It says, yes, powerful earthquakes can make the earth spin faster by shifting rock and mass closer to the planet's center, shortening the length of the day by a tiny fraction of a microsecond. So then I asked, how many major earthquakes happened since 1968? Because that's when Abba Bivens, you know, did his thing. And it says, how many major earthquakes have happened since 1969? It says, roughly 900 major earthquakes, magnitude 7.0 or higher, have occurred worldwide since 1969. According to long-term data from the U.S. Geological Survey, the planet averages about 16 major earthquakes each year, 15 in the magnitude of 7.0 to 7.9, range in one magnitude 8.0 or greater. So then, from there, I went and asked, that was a big bug. It says, mass shift. Major earthquakes move heavy rock masses closer to the center of the Earth. Day length. The 2011 magnitude 9.0 earthquake in Japan shortened the day by about 1.8 microseconds. Prior earthquakes, the 2004 Sumatra earthquake shortened the day by roughly 2.68 microseconds. So all those add up, and it says, because I asked about the monks. Monks light incense 24-hour day into shorter, into 18 hours. It says the idea that monks are lighting incense or candles meant for 24 hours, but they only last 18 hours because the days are getting shorter. You know? So, goddamn, from 24 hours to 18 hours, yeah, that's 6 hours. That's almost a shift at work. You know? So, for the elect's sake, those days should be shortened. Not for everybody else, because everybody else is gonna, you know, die of famine, be eaten. You see movies all the time. They have like rednecks and all kinds of people. They capture somebody, and then they have them hanging or doped up, drugged up, and cutting off body parts, you know, to keep them alive, but still eat from them. So that's scary. Because Yahweh Shemel Shai, he created vengeance, or he created spirits for vengeance. And in their fury, they lay on such strokes, you know? Pour out their wrath. The book of Sirach, chapter 39 and 28. There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on short strokes. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. Because Yahweh Shemel Shai, he's the father of spirits. So he's going to put a spirit of vengeance to punish those that didn't listen, you know, that mistreated his people. Why? Because Yahweh Shemel Shai is a man of war. He likes to see that, you know. Wickedness be punished. Hell yeah. That's 34. Isaiah 34 and 1. Come near, ye nations, to hear, and hearken, ye people. Let the earth hear, and all that is therein. The world and all things that come forth of it. It says, for the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their armies. He hath utterly destroyed them, he hath delivered them to the slaughter. But guess what? There's a nation of people that are going to be punished the worst. It says, their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of the carcasses, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood. And all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll. And when you get a visual of that, you see a nuclear bomb explosion. You know, that's how Yahweh Shemel Shai is going to punish all the nations. You know, so that's how he's going to dissolve the heavens. It's going to be a dark, scary day. You know, because not only is he going to utterly destroy the planet, or it's like not like won't blow it up or nothing, but all the land is going to get hit with nuclear missiles. America is going to be that lake of fire, though. And oh, okay, yeah, they're going to shoot little missiles here and there. But then, like the 4th of July thing, you know, you see the little kids running around with the little sparklies and stuff, and the little spinners and the little fireworks. That's what's going to happen here and there. Little bombs going off. I don't want to say little bombs like they're nothing, but there's going to be a grand finale. It says, for my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea. Who is Idumea? That's Edom. Esau, Edom. So it shall come down upon Idumea and upon the people of my curse to judgment. Why? Verse 8, it reads, "For it is the day of the Lord's vengeance, and the year of recompenses for the controversy of Zion." Verse 16, "Seek ye out of the book of the Lord Yahweh and read. No one of these shall fail, none shall want her mate. For my mouth he have commanded it, and his spirit it I have gathered them." See, so like it says, no one of these shall fail, none shall want her mate. You don't have to, go into other books. You got, like it says, like they said, basic instructions before leaving Earth. That's the Bible. And in it, it has prophecies. Like it says, the spirit of Yahweh Shai is the spirit of prophecy. And the day of the Lord, vengeance is prophecy. You know? And like it says, no one of these shall fail. So the Lord said it, and it's going to happen. So guess what we're doing? We're waiting patiently. We're calling upon the name of the Lord in our captivity, and we're praising Him and begging Him, praying, asking for forgiveness for what we've done in this life and in the past lives, because this isn't our first time around. We've been here before, so death is just a pinch. If you have to face that, we're gonna wake up in the kingdom, wake up on a chariot. you know but what did the Lord say? He said, "Seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read." Ecclesiasticus 39:1 says, "But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High, and is occupied in the meditation thereof, will seek out the wisdom of all the ancient, and be occupied in prophecies." You know? So we stay in the book. Like it says, seek ye out the book of the Lord and read. And we got great teachers, starting from the head elders of GMS all the way on down, the great millstone, because like it says, okay, I've got it. I got it here. It says, Acts chapter 8 and 30. It says, "And Philip ran thither to him, and heard him read the prophet Esaias, and said, Understandest thou what thou readest? And he said, How can I, except some man should guide me? Then he desired Philip that he would come up and sit with them." See, so like he asked him, "Do you understand what you're reading?" And he goes, "How can I unless somebody explains it to me, unless somebody teaches me?" So that's why we need to have the elders. The leadership is very important, and you got to follow what they say. You know, these great men have labored. You starting with the other Apostle Har, 40 plus years. You know, so they know better. and you're just hop up out the church thinking God loves everybody, John 3:16. You know, you think that's it? No, you gotta understand the text. For that the world in there means Orkameni. It's only about Israel, the world of Israel. He didn't love everybody because the Lord has enemies. So why would the Lord love his enemies? He even loved the Israelites that go off. But guess what? They still have to pay for what they've done. Rebelling against the Lord Yahweh Hashem Shai. So like he said, verse 31, and he said, how can I accept some man should guide me? And he desired Philip that he would come up and sit with them. Jeremiah 3:15, it reads, and I will give you pastors according to my heart. And what would they be doing? Who shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. So Yahweh Shem Yahushai set up the prophets to instruct and to teach, let our people know what to do and what not to do. And first of all, the names of the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai, who we are as a nation, and what's going to happen. Numbers 22:36. All right. It says Numbers 22 and verse 5. It reads, He sent messengers. He sent messengers, therefore, unto Balaam, the son of Beor, to Pethor, which is by the river of the land of the children of his people, to call him, saying, Behold, there is a people come up from Egypt, the Israelites. They cover the face of the earth, and they abide over against me. Come now, therefore, I pray thee, curse me this people. Says, curse me this people, for they are too mighty for me. Peradventure I shall prevail, that we may smite them, and that I may drive them out of the land. For I wot that he whom thou blessest is blessed, and he whom thou cursest is cursed. So this king wanted this witch, this warlock, to put a curse on our people, Israel. Slovakia. Thought I had it. Numbers, let's get 24. Okay, I got it now. Slovakia for that. All right. So this is Numbers 24 and 15. And he took up this parable and said, Balaam, the son of Beor, have said, and the man whose eyes are open have said, he have said, which heard the words of the Most High, and knew the knowledge of the Most High, which saw the vision of the Almighty, falling into a trance, but having his eyes open. I shall see him, but not now. I shall behold him, but not nigh. There shall come a star out of Jacob, and a scepter shall rise out of Israel, and shall smite the corners of Moab, and destroy all the children of Seth. And Edom shall be a possession. Seir, Edom, Esau, Edom, also shall be a possession for his enemies, and Israel will do valiantly. Let's get that word valiantly. It says, with courage or determination. Out of Jacob shall come he that shall have dominion, and shall destroy him that remaineth of the city. And when he looked on Amalek, the small hats, he took up this parable and said, Amalek was the first of the nations, but his latter end shall be that he shall perish forever. See, so Yahweh Shimon Al-Shai showed him a vision that we're going to be on top at the end of it all, you know? So we can't be cursed. Like he has said earlier in the chapter, that how can he curse what the Most High is not cursed, you know? So there's nothing they can do to stop this. It's all the will of the Lord. And guess what? Yahweh Shai is coming back to destroy these nations. Like it said, he's going to gather them in the valley of Jehoshaphat to lay upon him his indignation, even all his fierce anger. So he's going to gather them, and guess what? There's going to be a third world war. This stuff isn't dying down. There's no peace talks. Like they said, um, Trump, we destroyed their everything, all their bombs, their missiles, they're defenseless, but yeah, we're still getting destroyed over there, you know? And they're hiding the casualties. All the people dying over there, they don't want to scare the people. But guess what? All our ammunition is getting used up. All our ammunition is getting used up. Like they said, they just have to wait us out. And then guess what's going to happen? They're going to unleash on us, you know? Jeremiah 51. Like it says right here, Jeremiah 51. Thus saith the Lord, Yahweh, behold, I will raise up against Babylon and against them that dwell in the midst of them, that raise up against me a destroying wind. And I will send unto Babylon fanners, and they shall fan her, and shall empty her land. For in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about. Against him that bendeth, let the archer bend the bow, and against him that lifteth himself up in the, let's see this word, okay, I guess that word means, says iron rings or plates attached to canvases or other fabric. So like you see, soldiers in the ancient days, they had that, the armor that was all like fused together. It says, and spare ye not her young men, destroy ye utterly all her host. Verse 7, Babylon has been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Everything America stands on, you know, they push it everywhere across the world, and the nations are mad. Like, they're pushing the Transformer, you know, making little kids into Transformers, giving them sex pills to change their sex, you know. And watching a video earlier, Redacted, saying about how the vax make kids want to cut off the rod and all that, which is wicked, you know. You can't change like that. Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is going to show you, you know. Fucking weirdos, fucking pedophiles. And that's one of the reasons why this land's going to get judged. Because they're fucking wicked, they're gross, they're disgusting, messing around with little kids, you know. And the Epstein Island stuff, that's just the tip of the iceberg. They've done so much more, you know. It says, verse 7, Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. It says, howl for her, take balm for her pain, if so she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go every one into his own country, for her judgment reacheth unto heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies. Like it says, take a balm for her, you know, try to heal Babylon, you know, make America great again. That shit's out the window. This place is going down. Like it says, we would have healed her, but she's not healed. Why? Because it's the will of the Lord to destroy this place. Hey. It says, and like just like Sodom and Gomorrah, their sins reached them to heaven, and guess what they got? They got judged for it, you know. And so Yahweh Shem Yahushua is going to destroy this place like as Sodom and Gomorrah, you know. But this time it's going to be with nuclear missiles, and like it says, Because Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is the one that kills and makes alive. He wounds and he heals. Like it says right here. We get to NLV. See, I myself have made the workman who blows the coals in the fire on the fire to give it more heat and makes a sword for its work. It says, I have made the destroyer to destroy. NLT, I have created the blacksmith who fans the coals, breath the forge, and makes the weapons of destruction. The weapons of the Lord's indignation. You know, these ICBM missiles, they're not for play. They're not for hurting. You know, they're all going to open up. Like it says, spare no arrows. You know, all they that camp around thee. Let me see. And these people can't see that this place is going to be burnt up. You know, just like back in the day. People don't think water was going to fall from the earth, fall from the sky, Salakia. You know, they were like, that's unheard of. But how about Shema Shai is going to make, this time it's going to rain fire and brimstone. It says, Jeremiah 15:14, put yourselves in array against Babylon round about, all ye that bend the bow, shoot at her, spare no arrows. Why? For she hath sinned against the Lord Yahweh. And we know that this isn't talking about ancient Babylon, because Babylon wasn't destroyed in that manner. You know, all these nations didn't come up against ancient Babylon. Who was the one in ancient times against Babylon? It was the Medes and the Persians. You know? So, let me get that in the book of Daniel. Um, it says, the book of Daniel, chapter 5. Okay, we'll start at the top. Belshazzar, the king, made a great feast to 1,000 of his lords, and drank wine before the 1,000. Belshazzar, while he tasted the wine, commanded to bring the golden and silver vessels which his father Nebuchadnezzar had taken out of the temple which was in Jerusalem, that the king and the princes, his wives, and his concubines might drink therein. You know, and it's never a good thing to take the holy things away from the children of Israel. Just like, what was it, the Philistines? They took the Ark of the Covenant, and guess what happened? They were punished for it. And guess what happened at the end? They had to return it with gifts. You know, so that's what's going to happen this time around. They took the Lord's precious jewels, you know, the northern and the southern kingdom, and guess what? They're going to have to give them back. Plus, you know, and they're going into slavery. So, let's get this. Verse 3. Then they brought the golden vessels that were taken out of the temple of the house of the Most High, which was at Jerusalem, and the king and the princess, his wives, and his concubines drank in them. They drank wine and praised the gods of gold and of silver, of brass, of iron, of wood, and of stone. Verse 5. In the same hour came forth fingers of a man's hand, and wrote over against the candlestick upon the pilaster of the wall of the king's palace. And the king saw the part of the hand that wrote. You know? So imagine you're chilling there, having a good time with your peoples, and then a hand goes up and writes on the wall. And you can't understand it, like it's going to go into. And what does he do? He goes and tries to get people to read it for him. It says,